October 17, 1989, San Francisco's Loma Prieta earthquake registered 6.9 on the Richter scale. There were 63 casualties. February 27, 2010, the Chilean earthquake registered 8.8, killing over 700 people. January 12, 2010, an earthquake struck Haiti, registering 7.0, about the same size as the Loma Prieta. Yet, almost 250,000 people lost their lives. The question is, why? We talked to Lisa Faulkner, founder of Children's Hope and a longtime Haiti advocate.
Why is the devastation so much worse in Haiti than would have literally happened anywhere else in the world? That's the real story, and that's the story that hasn't really been told.
Pierre Labossiere is the founder of the Haiti Action Committee and one of the leading Haitian activists in the U.S.
Now, when you hear people talk about Haiti, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, and they stop it right there, right? You read the press, you hear it all the time. Then you wonder, then they don't tell you exactly, what's going on behind it. So in our minds, we say, wow. We see so many examples where they say black people can't govern themselves, blacks are inferior, blacks can't make it. So you tend to deduce from there that, well, country of blacks, what do you expect? They couldn't govern themselves.
Most folks like to think about Haiti as this poor, impoverished, backward people. And, it could be that racism has some large part to play in that, because none of that really is at the essence of the truth. The first European university was in Haiti. The first cathedral was in Haiti. It was the wealthiest colony in the entire world. And it was very systematically drained of all of its natural resources, starting with its very humanity.
50% of the children are malnourished. 1/3 of all children will never turn 5. Why? Why is Haiti so poor? Television evangelist Pat Robertson offers his explanation.
They were under the heel of the French, Napoleon III and whatever. And they got together and swore a pact to the devil.
In case you didn't buy that explanation, meet Paul Burke, Latin American scholar and professor at Sacramento State University.
Haiti is a poor nation because Haiti's an exploited nation. It goes back to the French colonial period, when Haiti was the jewel of the French Empire.
The people of Haiti came together. They had their first Congress, and they united and pledged to defeat slavery, to rise up and fight a war of independence. And after 12 years, they succeeded in defeating the troops of Napoleon. This was major.
Napoleon's army fought desperately to hold on to Haiti.
But Toussaint Louverture, the Haitian independence leader, defeated Napoleon's army.
Haiti became the first free black republic in the world back in 1804.
Haiti really set the example with the slave revolution. It was historic, it was monumental. It literally shook the world when Haiti rejected slavery and had the successful slave revolution. It so challenged, for example, U.S. hegemony, that for over 60 years, the United States would not recognize Haiti. That means wouldn't trade with Haiti. France refused to trade with Haiti.
The other thing that Haiti did that not enough people know about is that after Haiti won its own independence, the first thing it did was to support Simón Bolívar and the independence movements all over Latin America, and those probably would not have succeeded without Haitian support. So Haiti didn't just set an example in terms of liberating its people from slavery and setting that example in the world that slaves could rebel against their masters. Haiti set an example for all folks who were oppressed, who faced colonialism. And for that reason, the powers that be in the world made Haiti pay, and they made Haiti pay dearly.
Haiti became the place to be defeated. Haiti committed the greatest sin at that time, it called on enslaved people from wherever in the world they were to come to Haiti, and Haiti, they would receive political asylum and they would receive Haitian citizenship, and Haiti would go to war to defend their freedom. That was a big blow to the world economic system that existed at the time, not only in the Caribbean, but all over the Americas. It was slavery. And so for a nation of enslaved people to rise up like that, man, that's a powerful example. Just think of it.
The way that the world responded was to isolate Haiti and to bully Haiti and to try to make Haiti pay for its crime of rising up against slavery and white supremacy.
The U.S. and France were not the only countries. Spain threatened to invade Haiti, Germany, Holland.
The U.S. and Great Britain, another of the Western industrial, significant powers, all pretty much ganged up on Haiti.
Haiti was by itself, completely isolated, completely.
It's nice to think romantically that, we probably would support the Haitian independence struggle because in many ways it was modeled after our own. But that's the opposite, because what people tend to forget is that during that period that the United States was run by mostly slave owners. People like Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, for all their courage, all their brilliance, they were also slave owners, and they were committed to the doctrine of white supremacy and committed to slavery. And Haiti's revolution threatened all that. So the U.S. was very hostile to Haiti, and in fact, the United States didn't even recognize Haiti as an independent country until Abraham Lincoln did it, more than a half century later, after the Civil War, during the Civil War.
With these countries threatening constant invasion, Haiti didn't really have an opportunity to recoup, especially from the losses it was forced to pay.
Probably the most important event happened in 1825 when France came back, kind of regrouped. This is 20 years later. Haiti's been a free nation state. But France came back and threatened to re-invade Haiti, to reoccupy it, and to re-enslave the people. And they said, basically, either you pay us an extortion fee of what is now about $22 billion in today's money, or we're going to take you back.
There were warships circling Haiti a year after year following the revolution.
Haiti was weak enough that it really didn't want to go through another war. It had been a 13-year war. They'd lost, a large percentage of their population was killed during the war. So they decided to pay the fee.
Haiti was forced to pay to France the equivalent of $21.7 billion in today's money. Forced to pay that money to France in reparations because the former slave owners had lost their property. What was their property? Our foremothers and fathers.
They wanted all the profit from the slaves that they weren't able to sell. The slaves that had found their own freedom. A freedom that wasn't reality for American slaves, not for many years to come.
In order for Haiti to pay the extortion fee to France, they had to shut down all their public schools. So when people talk about Haiti being underdeveloped, when they talk about the high illiteracy rates in Haiti, and they're very high. Illiteracy rates are somewhere around 70%, and that's because they haven't had public schools since 1825.
Monies that should have gone into the building of Haiti, monies that should have gone into building schools, building irrigation ditches, building, providing things to build the society, building a healthcare system, went into paying France.
So it really goes back to that period to understand why Haiti today is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere.
It took over a century for Haiti to be able to finally pay off the debt that was extracted, really blackmailed.
Unfortunately, when we get closer to 2010, the story actually gets worse, not better. Because finally, in 1990, the Haitian people had a chance for the first time in their nation's history to elect their first free president in a free democratic election.
They managed to get a priest that grew up in the poorer part of Haiti himself and really understood the people. They talked him into running.
His name was Jean-Bertrand Aristide. He had earned a reputation for being a dedicated advocate for the poor.
Despite the fact that there was many candidates, despite the fact that the United States had one in particular, Marc Bazin, who they wanted to win and gave a lot of funding to, Aristide won easily. He got, I think, 67% of the vote back in 1990. In the fall of 1991, George Bush Sr. and other nefarious forces overthrew Aristide along with the Haitian military and the Haitian elite, and they implemented a military coup. Aristide was forced from power. But in 2000, he ran for president again. And even though he had only served, total about 2 years out of his 5-year term, it was clear that the people were thrilled with what he had tried to do in that time, because when he ran for president in 2000, he got more than 90% of the vote. And international observers watched the election very carefully. The U.S. was looking for any excuse to delegitimize Aristide's re-election, but it was a free and fair election.
It wasn't so popular with the power elite, not only in Haiti, but in the world community. So twice he was subject to military coups that overthrew both of these free elections, and now he's in exile.
First, the Clinton administration went after him and started to create kind of an economic blockade of Haiti. And then when George Bush Jr. took over, then he continued it and intensified the campaign to destabilize the Aristide government.
Haitians had it written in their constitution that only Haitian nationals could own property, and yet when the U.S. invaded Haiti and occupied Haiti, then that was done away with. So it opened the door, it opened every door and every window to the world really sucking the life out of Haiti.
Eventually, it led to the coup of February 29, 2004, which is a day of infamy in Haiti, but for the world, because once again, the will of the Haitian people was violated. And the democratic election of 2000 was overthrown when George Bush sent the Marines in to overthrow their president.
You have a puppet government put in there by the U.S. According to the Haitian Constitution, someone must have lived in Haiti for 5 years before you can become a prime minister. This guy left Haiti 18 years ago. He lives in Boca Raton, Florida. He was put on the plane and made prime minister by the U.S. And his name is Gérard Latortue. He was put in there to be prime minister. First thing he did, he told the French, "We are so sorry. Aristide is a crazy man. Haiti has no claim against France." So he retracted the whole thing in terms of the repayment by France of the money they took from us.
After all that the Haitian people have been through, now they're trying to grapple with the earthquake.
The French Revolution, the American Revolution before the French Revolution, and the Haitian Revolution. The first two are very well known and talked about and celebrated in movies and what have you. But the Haitian Revolution is hardly talked about.
Well, actually, Haiti's revolution did not begin in 1791. It began the day the first white person went to Africa and began to kidnap people in Africa. They did not just sit down and let themselves be taken away. They fought. They fought all the way to the boat. They fought on the boat. They killed themselves throughout the trip. They killed themselves as they get off the boat, or killed whoever was tying them up. So the fight began the day the aggression, the kidnapping, the slave mentality began to capture people. Now, and the fight went throughout, everywhere. It's not just Haiti. That's another false idea that Haiti did a revolution. But Jamaica fought a lot more than we did. Cuba has much more revolts than we did. But Haiti, the difference, Haiti succeeded. And that is what makes the difference. But all the islands in St. Thomas, 3 women freed St. Thomas in 1773, took it away from the Dutch for almost a year before they were recaptured. With the help of France and British Army, the Dutch put the island back into slavery and arrested the 3 women. But people don't know about that. Throughout Brazil. So the revolution is all over. It's not the Haitian Revolution. The Haitian Revolution is just one tip of the revolution against slavery that went throughout the world and received its first major success in Haiti. I would have to say, in the last period, the last string of battles that began in 1492, we have to take three characters, three major people and their surrounding. We have to take, if we take the man, we'll have to take Bookman Duty, who's from Jamaica, whose mother was a great revolutionary woman, was a Muslim woman. And the reason he's called Bookman, the man of the book, is because his Holy Quran that he refused to give up when they sold him out here. So the slave maker burnt the book on his skin. So he was all burnt up all in here, but the mark of the book stayed here. Why? Bookman. And since he was purchased by Mr. Duty, then his name became Bookman Duty, the man of the book of the duty. Now for us, nothing, there is no such thing as chance and hazard. So there is a reason why this man, who's going to come from Jamaica, grow up here, become from a Muslim to a Unga, participate actively in giving, being the what do you call, a tremplin, being what you jump over to push the last battle, if you want, to spring, to propulse, okay, the last battle. So this Bookman Beauty, what is he going to say to us? He's going to say to the Haitian people, God, who has created the sun, who governs the wind, the clouds, he is your father. And he demands that you put an end to this thing here. You must avenge the wrong that has been done to you. Now, we have no other word from Bookman but that one speech that he did on August 14, 1791. So this is the man who brought the word, the clarified word that must be materialized. Fine. And of course, with this, a whole string of fighting and activities begun towards the final march for freedom. Now we're going to go to step 2. We're going to get to a man called François Dominique Breda, born so-called in slavery. But I say no, he was born out of slavery, but when purchased, as they usually do, they changed his name to François Dominique Breda. Fine. He is going to grow. As he began to come into himself, he gets rid of the François. And what is the meaning of the word François? François means that which belongs to, is relative to France and its people. He gets rid of François. We find him Dominique Breda. He continues to fight. He gets rid of Dominique. And we find him Dominique, which means born on a Sunday. And we find him Toussaint Breda. And he gets rid of Breda. As he comes to full knowledge of who he is and take his role as the one who opens the way and traces the road to independence, we find him Toussaint Louverture. Toussaint, the one who has the powers of all the saints, Louverture, to open the way. So, as we step 2, he does his job of opening the way and tracing the road. What do we find him doing in the last minutes, the last days of his existence here? We do not find Toussaint fighting to stay in power. We do not find Toussaint begging Leclerc to keep him here. We find Toussaint fighting so Dessalines will be named a divisionary general. We find him fighting for Christophe to have another rank. We find him fighting to place everybody where they should be. And his last word here in Gonaïve to his godfather, Pierre Simon Baptiste, when Pierre Simon Baptiste asked him, Toussaint, so you leaving us here? Toussaint smiled and say, don't worry, everybody's in their post. The victory is already there. And he stepped onto the boat. So then, Toussaint accomplishes his mission and goes. And then the next person steps on. It is what they call history, which we call our story, which is the story of all life forms on a particular space. So, the R-string is a string that goes on forever. There is no cutting this string. So, Toussaint does his work, and the next guy step up to lead the work of the people that are involved. People from Jamaica, people from Grenada, people from all over the islands have found ways to come in and participate. African Americans from the United States have come here and fought in this battle over here. But all of this is sort of obscured when you have these individual type situations. Women, Toussaint Louverture says to us, women represent more than a third of all fighting troops. Children are the first people to step on any battlefield. Where are they? In his story that they gave us. We don't see them. But let's go on. The third step is when we get Jean-Jacques Dessalines as the leader. Now this is the person, again, when we take all the stuff they say about him is really, well, but one of the things, the man speaks Yoruba. He makes a choice to have all his closest people Africans, which as a very humorous person, he called his closest troops who are just recently arrived Africans. He called them the Polish troop. Why? Because he says they speak Haitian as poorly as the Polish speak French. So, this is the man who's going to structure the final blow. This man is born for this, raised by a military woman, Agbaraya Toya, whose name as Tantoya, he calls Tantoya, and everyone in that period called Tantoya. This is this military woman from Dahomey who raised him all along and reminded him throughout his life that his destiny is to bring liberty to this land, and gave him the proper training in military and philosophy and spiritual and mysticism as well. So when in this training this man is prepared, the time has arrived. He has been a perfect soldier under all those who came before him. He was an absolutely obedient lieutenant, captain, and colonel to Toussaint Louverture. He has received all his formal military functioning, training, and regulations from Toussaint. He does not do anything that Toussaint does not ask him to, that Toussaint does not order him to, until Toussaint is no longer there. Then it is evident to everyone there is no other person to replace Toussaint and take the lead of the people's movement, and that is this man, Jean-Jacques Dessalines. Now, spiritually, when we analyze, just like we analyze Toussaint, and in our own spiritual language, Toussaint is a legba in Vodou. By his name, by his functioning, by his physical appearance, by his speaking all the languages that he spoke, by everything he did, he is a pure living legba. And as we analyze Jean-Jacques Dessalines, he is an Ogun. Ogun is what? That is the principle that brings, once you've set up an objective, once the collectivity has established an objective, then Ogun bring this objective to quick materialization. That is his work. And this is the mission of this man, Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And that's what he does. He says, all right, so now we're not afraid to say the word independence? You guys are ready? He is going to use it one of the first time publicly on March 25th, 1802 in Créta-Kiewo, when he tells the people, even if you see me submit myself to French domination and authority 100 times, know that 100 times 100, I shall betray them. I promise you, I will give you independence. March 1802. He puts out his word, and his word is bond, and bond is life, and he shall give his life before his word shall fail. So Jean-Jacques Dessalines takes us to January 1st, 1804, Declaration of Independence. Declaration of Independence for the island of Haiti. Dessalines never spoke of a part of an island. The island of Haiti. Freedom for everywhere. When he made his security plans for structures and fortresses to be built, he made them for the entire island. Everything he did for the island. Okay? And he also told another very important thing. He says, today we are celebrating one independence, military independence. All the other independence have yet to be conquered. He was very clear. Ogu always speak very frankly, differently from a Legba. Legba speaks in very symbolic terms, and everyone can take them whichever way they are comfortable with them. But Ogun speaks in very direct terms. He's usually hated or loved. Henri Christophe, when he's going to take over after Dessalines' death, then Christophe, what is going to, his strength is that he picked up all of Dessalines' plans and executed them. Whereas in the West, Pétion, who was president, who is the assassin of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, he smashed everything that he had started, that Dessalines started. And this is the man who believed in the French, who is begging a slaver while president of this country, while talking about the Black Republic, is begging a Frenchman to recognize him as his son. Now, this is the confused person who brings us to the crossroad of where we are now, that led to where we are now. And that's the continuation of this sickness of wanting to be white, wanting to live out of yourself, out of your own nature, and it's going to be concretized by, this thing is going to reach a higher level when this man is going to agree to pay France 150 million gold francs for an independence that we earned. The year 2004 is important for Haitian, for it is a mark. It is a time, as far as we are concerned, for remembering, going back and studying a victorious time in our lives, so we can pick up the principles of history, put them into structures, and so we can begin again to work as a victorious people. Jean-Jacques Dessalines himself said it, 1804. He said, look at what you did. He did not say, look at what I did. He said, look at what you did. He said, it's not the army's victory. It is your victory. For if you were not there for the army to hide, if you were not there to feed this army, if you were not there to bring him weapons, what would he have realized? Look at what you did. Clap for yourselves. Yes, we have lost this. It's not written anywhere in no manual, history manuals for the children. The children do not know what it is that they did in 1804. I believe if one does not have a good understanding of what has happened in the past, then you are not equipped to build the future. I believe that if your knowledge of history is just blurbs, little bleeps about this president, that president, oh, this one was no good, that one was this one was a killer, then if that's your understanding of what is called history, then you cannot project the future. To project the future, there must be a profound analysis of what has happened and understand the whys of these various events. Then you are equipped. Because I believe our history is in studying our history, we capture a light from the past which shines on the road to the future. I come from a very small, insignificant country, trodden down, baffled by every so-called nation friend, sister nation, brother country, whatever it is they call themselves, baffled by so-called international community, baffled finally through education, oh, excuse me, through miseducation, through conditioning, baffled by ourselves, fooled and trampled by ourselves, because we have been trained to do this. But we must know what is this country. We must know what is the purpose. A nation is what? A nation is a group of families that come together. They have past experience together, common past experience, and they established a common objective. When you have past experience, which give you culture together, and you establish an objective to work towards, then you become a nation. And if we go back to the time where they were creating this country, Haiti, and please call it by its name, Haiti, not anything that you hear other people calling it. Thank you. This is a land that the founders sat down and decided would be the refuge for all black people throughout the world. It's not whatever little group is living on it. It's not the possession, the propriety of the little group that is there now. But their vision was, we're going to create this space here as a place where any black person running from any kind of oppressing havoc, oppressing chaos, they can come here. And instantly, any black person who set foot on this land becomes automatically free and a citizen. They went further. They said, anyone freeing slavery who comes to Haiti will be free. But if you're black, you are free and a citizen. But more than this, if we take a little look at the constitution of this country, the first constitution, the only valid constitution, Constitution of 1805, states clearly this land is the land for all black folks. States clearly any black person landing here becomes automatically free and a citizen. States clearly no white man has the right to buy property here or walk as master on this land. Clearly. And this law, and now when you learn that Haiti is actually on its, I think we were at Constitution 38 or 39, I don't know how many constitutions we have since the Constitution of 1805. If you understand, and of course in most books, you will not find a copy of the Constitution of 1805. They will begin with the Constitution of 1807. Even though they will have the Constitution of 1801, which is before Haiti's independence. But most people can never find a copy of 1805. But if you understand the mission of this country, then you also understand why this constitution cannot be this readily available. With every constitution, they removed the mission of the country little by little. And the very last thing to fall out was the article on white man cannot buy land or walk as master on this land. And it was removed in 1915 during U.S. occupation.
Yes, ma'am. Tell them who your enemy is.
And the Marines encircled the Parliament at that time when they wanted to have this law removed from the books. They had already been manipulating several weeks already. Several new laws came in, removing this one, removing that one. But when they got to this law about white men, Even this parliament, which agreed with almost anything the U.S. asked. The U.S. asked to turn left, everybody turn left. Turn right, everybody turn right. But when they said we must remove this article, every parliamentary person said, not me. I don't want to be involved with this. I'm not here. So the U.S. Marines encircled the Parliament House, arrested all the Parliament folks, wrote the new decree to remove this law from the books, and passed it. Democratically. Democratically, thank you. Okay. Right? So, why? People will tell you many things. I'm sure there are books on tops of books you will read as to why, the economic reasons why they had to occupy Haiti. Oh, no. The trouble, so much coup d'etats and too many killings of officials and too much trouble in the country. That's why the U.S. had to occupy Haiti. But here's what the U.S. did. When they came in the first time, they occupied Haiti. First, they changed all the worthwhile laws from the books. I'm sorry, that wasn't first. The very first thing was, Haiti was the only country at that time who did not have their money backed in the Americas, backed by the dollar. Our money was backed by gold. Our entire reserve, gold reserve, was taken away for safekeeping, we were told, and brought to Fort Knox. It has yet to return home. This was 1915. When somebody asks you, why is there so much poverty? When some white person says, oh, I want to go help the poor people in Haiti, so I'm going to bring a little bread and a little water for them. Ask them, why don't you just ask your government to give them back their gold? Right. Yes. So, we're looking at a country that has set a model for black countries. The only country who had a constitution which was in accord with what the purpose of the people. We cannot have black people enslaved or colonized, and then when we're free we say, oh, our colonizers are our best friends. They teach us the laws we should have in the books. We're going to take their books to have the schools. We're going to take their doctors to come and build our hospitals. Why the hell then why don't you just stay in slavery or stay in colonization? We have an example, Nigeria, very important country, 110 million people strong, powerful land, variety in climate. Nigeria has everything to win as a black country. When Nigeria was becoming, and they really didn't want to give Nigeria up. They did not. Because Nigeria was too much wealth, too much of everything. And it had a very dynamic personality, the people of Nigeria. Well, when you read the Constitution of Nigeria, you can hardly tell this is a black nation. But furthermore, the accompanying agreements, Nigerians agreed to live in the hands of England. The educational system, the justice system, the finance system, and the resources. So here we are independent. Here's how it went in Nigeria. We're independent. Hooray! Independence! Wonderful. But England will determine what you do as far as education is concerned, will determine how money is spent and for what, will determine how resources are used, and will determine justice for the next 15 to 20 years. Is that independence? No. All right. So Haiti, if you're looking for one country, one black country, coming out of slavery or colonization that actually had what you call independence, you will not find two examples. Not even Ghana. Ghana is the closest. Ghana had pretty good documents in what they set up. Guinea tried, paid very dearly for trying. Okay? So, tell me, here we are. I'm a slave master. You're my slaves. I spent 100 years beating up on you, your grandmama, your great-grandmama, making you work for nothing for me. Centuries after centuries. And then one day independence must come. I said, okay, fine, let's have independence. Let's sit down and talk about it. Here's how your independence is gonna go, okay? Let me tell you. And now, independence is signed, we all happy, we shake hands. How sweet. All the land that I took from your family remains my land, of course. And now you out in the streets begging. You know what I'm gonna say? Look at this bum. What is wrong with him? These black folks can't do nothing for themselves. Here he is begging, begging, always begging. And we are so stupid. We won't even say, yeah, I'm begging because you stole my land. I'm begging because you killed my mother. I'm begging because you slaughtered my grandmother. I'm begging because you raped my sisters. That's why I'm begging. We're going to say, no, white man, you got to help us. Yeah, we're really in bad shape. But remember, Haiti is nothing but an example. It's nothing. Whatever we say about Haiti, we could say it about Zaire, we could say it about Nigeria, we could say it about Togo, we could say it about Ghana, we could say it about Guinea, we could say it all over wherever our people are. And that's why we must make it our business. If we say we're serious about growing. In 1960, Haitians did not know what drug was. 1970, if you say marijuana to somebody in Haiti, what you talking about? Cocaine? Today we have a large drug population since the occupation. Yes. Another wonderful thing that the United States of America does, it's cleaning out its jail populations, we're told. So for the past 3 years, every American Airlines that land in Port-au-Prince has 4 or 5 handcuffed men in the back. These are supposedly Haitians. Nobody checked their papers, nobody really knows. But what is certain, they are hardcore criminals. The US has a program. If you've been in jail 10 years, or you've gone to jail so many times, the next time they arrest you for hardcore crimes, instead of giving you life imprisonment, they can take you back to your country, supposedly. And this without saying anything to the government. You get to the airport, they take off the handcuffs, and you're in the streets. The American Airlines land every day in Haiti at least 3 times a day. And every day it brings a load. And then they say, oh, there is insecurity in the country. We wonder how come. Until 1985, I lived home in a house where I did not have the key to the front door. Even when I went on vacation, I didn't lock the door. I just pulled it. Today, I wouldn't dare. But to solve all of this, first element, we must know what's happening. Because if you don't know, you cannot resolve a problem that you have not identified. Number two, you must get yourself together. Don't look at Zaid and say, well, here's what's wrong with Zaid. Forget it. Bayyinah has to look at Bayyinah. Look at what's wrong with Bayyinah and decide how to cure and clean Bayyinah. Zaid has to take a good look at Zaid, clean up Zaid, and cure Zaid. And when Bayyinah is clean, Zaid is clean, Bayyinah and Zaid can have a program together.
Thank you. Yes,
It's important for us to know when we're talking about women in history, we must know about the three mamas in St. Thomas, who in the 17th century liberated the islands militarily from the Dutch. And the island stayed free for more than 9 years. They run the island before British, Dutch, and German put together to put these women down. We must know these things. We must know women liberation didn't start in 1960 when we started burning bras. Makeda in Ethiopia, in Saba, she was a woman ruler who came after 3,000 years of uninterrupted rule by women. In her country, they could not imagine that a man could rule a country because they felt, first of all, they hadn't seen it. They've always known a woman ruling the country. And second, they felt with the natural talents of women for details, men did not have what it takes to run a country. That's why it was the business of woman. Yes, it's very, logical that the way they viewed these things. Now, so we have, if we take Dahomey with a female army and a male army. The male army is in the business of protecting the king and the nation and making expansion. The male army's job was the day-to-day policing of the population and fighting defense. Each had their own role. But in all of our societies, all over Africa, there has never been this concept that women can't, and women don't, or women are less than. No. We are different. We have to know our own forces. Why two armies? Very simple. Women don't have their strength, same places, or in the same way as men. Men will be stronger, easily develop strength from the upper body. Women, their strength is more easily developed from the lower body. So, if I become a policewoman in today's police force, they're going to teach me to fight like a man. I'm never going to be equal to any man on that police force. I cannot be. Because the force they're asking me, the part that they're asking me to put into play, are not the ones that are natural to me as a woman. I can be equal or better to any man when I know how to fight as women do, naturally. Not learning to fight as a man. It's like you ask a dog to be like a cat. Okay? So that's why it is, we've always seen in African traditional societies, women are equal to men, but each have their own role. They have their times where they must be separate. The women must get together to get certain things done. The men get together to get other things done. And then there are specific places where we're going to come together to do a specific thing. Okay? But it doesn't mean separate. But the white men usually say, you see? Yeah, women one side, men the other. Oh, that's racism. No, they have another word for it. Sexism. Thank you. Please, let's not get into this kind of crap. All humans, Africans maybe more than others, know that we do not live by flesh alone. Yeah, I hear there are people who say they are atheist. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in spirits. Atheist, thank you. They don't believe in spirits. They don't believe in any force other than men. Possible. But what I know is all Africans, all, from every corner of the continent, all of the people with high melanin content, they all believe in what we don't see, in non-matter existence. When we're looking at life, taking life as if we were, I don't know, leaves being blown in the wind, you don't put any objective, you don't set no objectives. You just sit there and complain. Here's something else we're very good at. We can complain for days. And when you say to somebody, what's the solution? Okay, let's try. Nothing's going to work. But you know, they keep doing this. They're doing this to us. No, don't complain. I don't believe in complaining. Look at the truth for what it is. Face up to it. Oshun teaches us. Love, you know what love is? Are you sitting well? Because I know you all been looking at all this television and this movie and reading all these fine romance novels. Love is knowing your weaknesses, your strength. The weaknesses and strength of your partners, the weaknesses and strength of your enemies. That is love according to Oshun. That is equilibrium. Again, learning from the peasants. One peasant asked me, did you pee this morning when you got up? And I thought, what kind of question is this? Boy, see, this man didn't go to school. I say, yes, I did. What color was it? What do you mean, what color was it? Color, regular color. Said, you see, knowledge of self begin by knowing your body. What goes in and what goes out. What goes out is an indication as to the state of your health. If you do not know the natural color of what you eliminate, how can you know when you're not well? Because that's the first indication. If you have a fever, the color of your urine will change. If you have stomach problems, before your stomach starts to hurt, before you do this, before you do that, the color will change. You don't need a doctor to tell you you have gas. The minute you go, if it doesn't go to the bottom of the bowl, it stays up there and float, it's obvious. You have major gas problem. And you must know what to eat and what to drink that will eliminate the level of acid in your digestive tract. But if you get up from there as if that's not you, yes, we must deal with our everyday reality. So get into knowing our body. Your eyes, they change color all the time. You don't need to wait until they're red, bright red, and everybody's saying, what's wrong with your eyes, child? Before you're going to do something about it. Your gums, they tell you a bunch of things about yourself. Okay? So let's love ourselves, know ourselves. Look at yourself. Don't hide it. Your gray hair, just flaunt it, baby. Don't paint it. These are of life. Accept yourself. Okay? As I said, often people, at home, it's the in thing. Nobody has gray hair. I'm one of those weird things from outer space. And when people say, well, why don't you do something? I mean, you're very pretty, Bayyinah, but if you would just, and sometimes the word can't quite come out. I said, you see, I have earned every single white hair you see on my head on the battlefield. There is no way I'm going to get rid of one of them. Okay. So accept ourselves. Love, that's loving. Knowing self, that's loving. When you know self, there is no limit as what you can do. Okay? So please, brothers, sisters, go in yourself. I'm sure all of you here have heard enough conferences. You've read enough books. You've seen a lot of things. What you don't have is you have not taken all of this in, kneaded down with your own experience. When it comes out of your mouth, it should not be a quote. Don't go out there and say, oh, Bayyinah Bello said, please. That's not honoring me. I'll be very happy if I hear you say that what comes out of your mouth is not a quote, but a conviction out of your heart through your mouth. An excellent example is Cuba. And that's what most of us don't know how to do. Most of us go into a either or. Well, I'm against the white man. I don't want anything. I'm going to walk bare feet because the white man made the shoes. I'm going to walk naked because the white man made the clothes. I'm going to sit on the floor because the white man made the chairs. Okay. If you want, that's all right. But there's another way. You could learn from the chair he has made and make your own chair that fits your big behind. You can make your own whatever using the technique. The principle is forever. It's universal. It belongs to nobody. This white man that you're busy giving him credit for everything, he went all around and stole from all of us. Most often he's bringing back things he took from you. He brings it back to you and you say, whoo, he's a genius. No. Yeah. You're not gonna, don't say, I'm not gonna do, I'm not gonna. No, go. Learn. Study. But don't spit it out like a parakeet. No. Take it in. Knead it down. Make a dough with your own experience, with your own reality. And then when you're going to speak about it, you're going to bring out your conviction, your vision, your point of view. According to Dr. So-and-so, please. I know they condition us in the schools because they don't want us to say nothing and say, well, where did you get that information? And they condition you that continuously you got a name. Dr. So-and-so say, Dr. So-and-so say. Dr. So-and-so say a lot of stupid things. Even very brilliant so-and-sos say a lot of stupid things. Because all of us are human. For every portion of intelligent things we say, and we, Bayyinah included. And you would do me a favor and an honor if when you look at what I say, when you read what I write, you say, yeah, I agree with her here. Yeah, that's right. This I feel, that's correct. But this one here, no, there the sister Tegri, she took off. I don't see it. I don't view it that way. I think this way, there you help me. Don't say every word out of her mouth is God's given truth. That's not true. That doesn't exist, this person. So go in. Take all of this, knead it down, make your own, and bring out your thing. I'm always hoping whenever I come before any group, especially when there are younger people here in the group, that one day I hope to sit in the audience and look at somebody who used to come and listen to me. And see how this person brings the information they have gathered from all around, bring it inside themselves, and then spit it out. Their own conviction, not quotes. This whole quote business is out. Don't tell me what somebody else said. Tell me what you believe, what you're convinced of. And if you speak what you're convinced of, it will make your action, it will give weight to your actions. You will act on what you say. And it will be your conviction acting. And that will give strength to your actions. And our combined action can be a strike or a movement that brings the result that we want. Sound is energy. With energy, you create matter. I'm sure you've seen children people call Porky. This is my little Porky. Porky, come here. Porky, da da da. Go to your mommy, Porky. What do those children look like? They're not very attractive. But the mothers don't understand. When they took this 3-month-old baby and they started calling it Porky, 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 they created the pig that they don't like today. Because with your words, words are sound, sounds are energy. We call ourselves niggas. We call ourselves all kind of trash that this jerk first gave us. And then, you know, with all the adjectives, you know, niggas are. We say it continuously. We are reproducing it continuously. We need to stop. You don't agree with what a brother is doing? I don't agree with what this brother is. You don't need to give him no name. You don't need to put all kinds of negative adjectives on him. Because whether you know it or not, the force is in you. And it works. That's a science. Okay? Now, Vodun has established the different principles. The first principle is identifying who you are. If you don't know who you are, you'll never make the right choices for yourself. You will never be content and at peace with yourself. If you're not at peace with yourself, you can't be a good fighter. You'll be too troubled. You'll be too confused. You are easily deterred. You come here with good intention. Yeah, I want to be part of the fight. I'm going to join the brothers. And you come in. But it takes almost nothing. A bean pie. And you're going to sell out everybody. It's not your fault. You just don't know who you are. The basic work was not done. Okay? So start to work. Anybody who starts learning themselves will develop all the forces, the power, the puissance that is in us. Then you are qualified to join into, to take a partner, to join with groups, to do anything. But as we stand right now, we're not qualified. If we don't know who we are, we don't know ourselves, not even materially. Louverture was a Legba. Dessalines was an Ogu. Two characters who shouldn't get along because they're so different. Dessalines, the Ogu, is all ready to go. He's always in a hurry. He's always ready to move. Legba has 1,000 words to say something that could be saying 3 words. And he will, when Legba speaks, we all in this room, we could be fighting. We fight, we don't agree, I don't agree with him, he don't agree with him, nobody agrees. Legba comes in and speaks, we all agree with Legba. Because the way he said what he said, we each found what we wanted out of what he said. That's one of his talents. So I must, if Ogun want to crush Legba and take over where Legba is, the land, he will fail in what he's going to do. Because the space would not have been prepared. Because Legba's job, Legba's talent is there to prepare the road for Ogun. Ogun must wait his turn. But you must know who you are. You must know who you are. There isn't a knowledge greater than the knowledge of self. No, nowhere. We must have a plan. People who know themselves always have a plan. You have a plan, and you have an alternate plan to this plan, and you have an alternate plan to your alternate plan. That's how people who know themselves act. But if we're just a leaf, a dead leaf out there, then the wind blows us anywhere it wants to, and then we're always surprised and unhappy to where we end up. That's where we at now. We gotta be for real. We gotta take everything serious. My children, today, all three of my boys have a master's degree. These children spent almost 2 years without going to school. When I didn't feel the schools in the neighborhood could do what I want for my children, I kept them home. But when I kept them home, I had to go to work. And when I come home, I had to be a teacher in the house for 3 or 4 hours to 4 brats. 4 wild ones. Because 4 children spending all day in the house by themselves. Okay? But almost 2 years, I kept them. And people were very furious with me. Oh, can you do this? You can da-da-da-da-da. Everybody finished school. Everybody did their lives. Must educate our children. We must. When they're asking for toys, Christmas gifts, I have never bought a Christmas gift for any of my children. When they started raising havoc on the house, well, mommy, everybody else has da-da-da-da. Because at a certain age, no matter how you start them young, at a certain age, they want to be like everybody else. So they'll start putting pressure on you. Say, okay. You want to know what Christmas is all about? Say, well, everybody does it, mommy. Even if, we know there's no, but, okay. I'm going to give each one of you $40. We're going to go to the store a couple of days before Christmas. And you will be free to buy whatever you want for your $40. But I'm going to tell you, if you're smart, you're not going to spend your money. You're going to wait after, and we're going to come back to the same store, and you're going to see how much you can buy for your $40. I never had any more complain about no Christmas. It's true. We must take seriously. You see, if we come to 1,000 conference, to all kinds of places and listen to all kinds of things, then tomorrow we go home and do business as usual, it will never have any value. It is up to us to validate the knowledge that we gain. And we can't mix. We are African on one side on certain things, and then on the other things, we the white as snow. Can't go that way.
That's right. That's right. It's either this or that.
And there are lots of things about traditional African life and society that most of us can't bear to hear. You see, the trouble with the whole politics will have no value really for us if it wasn't for the fact these people are always up front and they represent us. Every time we talk about a Jean-Claude Duvalier or Mobutu or any other jerk that they created, which is not us, they created their monsters. They fed them, entertained them, protected them for as long as they could. And then in the end, they take them and put them up front. Oh, look, another black nigger. See how they are? Here's what they did. Here's this, here's that. They are attacking us every time. ABC has a special on how wicked this or that black leader was. It is really about us. It's to make us weak, to make us not trust each other, to make us not be able to have a leader that you will put all your backing behind and go forward with. It's a well-designed program. You have to see through that. It doesn't mean they didn't do the crimes that they are accused of. Yes, they did. But they did it with U.S., France, England's plan, U.S., France, England's weapons, U.S., France, England's money, clothing, everything. Mobutu robbed Zaire. But where did he spend the money? In France, in Switzerland, in Belgium, in the United States. All the property he bought is where? In their place. So who's going to benefit from the raping that Mobutu did? Not you, not me, not the average man from Zaire or ex-Zaire today. No. But the white man is a beneficiary all the time. Every time you hear a dictator someplace, know that it was somebody working for them, working against you. We don't want to sit and parade this. That's not our best picture. That's our picture, though. I cannot deny Mobutu is me. Jean-Claude Duvalier is me. I cannot deny it. I must face up to that. Because as long as I say, well, it's Duvalier, one day, if I'm placed in the same position, I will find myself doing exactly the same thing while I'm blaming Duvalier. No, I must know the facts, and I must protect myself. But for my children, I don't need to constantly talk about Duvalier and Mobutu and all this other crap. What is important is that we know they were forged by him. They are his constructions, his fabrications, and that's not the way for me to live. And I must teach myself every day to love me, because if I love me, I will have to love you. If I love me, I cannot not love him. Because he is me and I am him. You are me and I am you. I must love and protect you. And for our children, we must put our best forward. That's why it's important for history to find the great things that our people did in the past and put that in front of our children so they have an image of great black women, great black men, so they can aspire to be. Not constantly put in front of them the Duvaliers and the Mobutus. Those are the white man's trash. He can keep them, put them in his own history books. Everybody here is familiar with Toussaint Louverture? Okay. Toussaint Louverture is a black man who largely contributed to the independence of Haiti, but he did not see independence. Freed himself as a slave. He was a slave for a time, and he was named by the white man François Dominique Breda. François means a thing belonging or having quality of French. Okay, a French thing, French possession, French quality. Dominique means somebody born on a Sunday. Breda is the name of the plantation where he was born. Every slave on that plantation signed Breda. Okay, so his name, François Dominique Breda. As this man started to implicate himself in the struggle for revolution, he got rid of the François. The Dominique fell off almost by itself. And people started calling him, as his godfather used to call him secretly, Toussaint. He was called Toussaint because his godfather, who's a man who came to Haiti as an adult, an African, and as an African, Africans like to name people according to the day you were born. And he's born on November 1st, which is the day of All Saints. So Toussaint means All Saints. Okay? So his godfather secretly always called him that. Later, when he started to affirm himself as a revolutionary, he said to people, hey, don't call me this François business. Hey, call me like my godfather calls me, Toussaint. Fine. As he became military implicated, and people start noticing that whenever they are trapped somewhere, and Toussaint is there, he always finds a way to open the way and get out of the trap. So then people start calling him Louverture, which means the opener, the one who opens the way. So Toussaint Louverture. This man paved the road to independence. But before independence, he was captured by the French, taken to France, locked up in a jail, opened up a hole in the ceiling for snow to come in and eat him away. He died of gangrene. After Toussaint, Jean-Jacques Dessalines took the lead of the movement. And Dessalines took things all the way to the Declaration of Independence, January 1st, 1804. But when you study these two people, when you study them spiritually, Toussaint, not only by his name, both his names, is a legba. What is a legba? Legba is the spirit, the opening, the initiator of all things. He opens the way for people. He allows somebody to get to where they ought to be. If you take the Bible, Moses is a legba. He opens the way for people to get somewhere, but legba never gets there. Legba must not be attached. Legba is the door. He creates the opening for you. You go in. He stays there to create another opening for somebody else. He doesn't go. Toussaint did not see independence. Toussaint was followed, as I said, by Jean-Jacques Dessalines, who is an Ogun. Ogun is the spirit of the one who eliminates obstacles after an objective is set. Be careful. An Ogun is a very wicked thing if there is no objective. You have to have your objective set, and then the role of Ogun is clear, and Ogun will give you a fine job. It will get you to the objective. So, depending on what circumstances we're in and what our objective is, Zaid and Inuni cannot want the same position. Two very different nature, two very different spirit. But when Zaid don't know who he is, and Inuni does not know who he is, what happens? It's easy for them to fight for the same position because they do not know who they are. They are not in touch with their true self, the vital force that makes them be. But that's okay. I am a teacher. And I'm not going to be something somebody else wants me to be. And that's what you need to do. Know who you are and stand your ground. Because you know how to speak, don't make of you a politician. You need to know how to dance in mud and in feces to be a good politician. I'm not. So identify who you are. Hold on to it. Every day, go back in. Look for more of your strength. Learn how to use it better. Sharpen your skills of knowing and loving self. And our nation will be saved. Great government is made by people who know who they are. Bad government is not a bad somebody, you know, Mobutu is guilty, this one is guilty. No. The nonsense that goes on in our countries goes on because none of us know who we are. None of the leaders know who they are. The day you have somebody who knows who he is, look at Castro. Been wearing this uniform for 30 some odd years. Man, he knows who he is. He has no qualms about it. No. The world is against him. His country progresses. attempts on his life on a daily basis without knowing he survives because he knows who he is. That's right. Once you know who you are, your mission is clear.